Welcome to the First and Goal podcast. You have now entered the set with Coach Blocker, the number one source for player development both on and off the field. Tune in this Thursday where we will be going live on Facebook and on YouTube.
Your body, that's easy. We train your mind.
Special guest this week, trainer and nutritionist Tony Adkinson of ViberZone. Tony will be discussing affordable and effective meal plans that'll help boost your body's performance on a budget. Our second guest is former Enloe High School standout and Yale football player Hamilton Moore with his parents to discuss creating a supportive system to success. Join Tony Adkinson of ViberZone and Hamilton Moore of Yale this Thursday, live at 6 p.m. on the First and Goal podcast. This is Coach Block, and I'll see you on the set. What's up, people? How's everybody doing? Welcome back to the First and Goal podcast. This week, we will be discussing a couple different things, something a little bit different. We're going to have two parents on the show of a former athlete, Hamilton Moore of mine, and I'll also have a nutritionist. The theme for today's show is creating a culture for success. So one of the things that I try to do to let the parents be informed is understanding what goes into high performance on and off the field. And I think I've had a lot of players who succeeded on and off the field. But one of the names that continuously pops up even to this day when I'm in the grocery store or anywhere like that is Mr. Hamilton Moore. So I figured I don't know what was going on when Hamilton left me, so who's better to tell you guys that story than his parents. And then also another thing that I get a lot of is what should I be feeding these boys? So a lot of parents want to know what should they be putting into the bodies of the student athletes, and then how much does this cost? How expensive is it? And just the overall investment of putting into a student athlete. Is it something that you need to do when they're younger, or, how can you get away with, feeding and not feeding them certain things and understanding and not understanding certain things? So what I seen was from the support system that Hamilton Moore had, from his body to his eating to all that, these two parents that we're going to bring on pretty much did all that. So I want you to talk to them and ask your questions and discuss the investment that was put into Hamilton to be where we're at today. So we're going to jump right up into first down. So as you guys know, we do 4 downs here. Each segment has its own down. This will be our first down and our first down sponsors. So as y'all know, behind the scenes, my sister Kim. Kim, run our first sponsor. First down brought to you by iCryo. Elevate your life. So, iCryo is the number one sponsor for us. They have a iCryotherapy or cryotherapy spot in North Hills or North Raleigh. And check them out. All you got to do is tell them that you came from First and Goal. Talk to Matt Pepe. He is the owner. Say First and Goal sent me. He'll take care of you. I'm going to be honest. I never knew about cryotherapy until these sets of parents right here and taking pictures of their son inside of cryotherapy and compression things and all that. I knew nothing about it. So until then, until I seen that, now I see the importance of it because it kept his body healthy. So with no further ado, I'm going to bring on Miss Inga Moore, Mr. Eric Moore, and Hamilton Moore, the Yale athlete. Hey, how are y'all doing?
Great.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing
What's
good.
up?
Doing good.
Hamilton, what's up, man? How you doing?
Good, Coach. How about yourself?
Great. So we're not going. The reason why you guys are going first, we're not going to hold you long. So for those who have tuned in, Hamilton is actually in between class and weightlifting right now.
Yes, sir.
And you got to hurry up and eat before you get there.
Yes, sir. Exactly.
All right, cool. So we're not going to hold you too long. I promise 10 minutes, and then you out of there because I know how important that is. So my first question is, how did you guys create the culture of success? So when did you guys see it? How did you nurture it? And, give me some of the blueprints that we can share with other parents. And I'll start, since you're at the top of the screen, Miss Ingo, I'll start with you.
I think we saw it at a young age for Hamilton. We definitely believed in putting him in every sport. So we tried baseball, soccer, football. We did every basketball. We did everything, and I think we saw a natural talent in him in soccer and football. So it started out very young.
Mhm.
I don't think we were big, huge proponents of just like of tackle football. I mean, we just did Parks and Rec. To be
Mhm.
honest, we started out with that, and a lot of YMCA's, a lot of just all the other sports that the other sports teams that were out here.
Okay, okay. Mr. Eric, how about yourself? When you seen it, what did you see to begin to nurture that athletic side? When did you see that spark?
I finally saw that spark the first year um, that we played football. I wanted to see whether he'd be able to make contact or would he shy away from contact.
Hmm.
And when he started making contact, at first he shied, but when he started making contact, then it started to click.
Hmm.
And then from that point, I began to uh, train him in football.
Okay.
Soccer, he just had natural ability, and so we started training, working with football around age 8 when he
Okay.
really started to understand what football was.
Okay. Okay. So then one thing that I think I kind of drilled that, a lot of parents now they want to do is specialize. Something that Miss Inger, you said you tried to put him in almost every sport you could. And Mr. Moore, you always spoke to, Hamilton having success in soccer. So what was the thought process behind putting in multiple sports versus specializing in one?
I think
Um,
we both, Inga and I, both grew up playing multiple sports.
Hmm.
And I played baseball, soccer, football, basketball, and then baseball, basketball, and football through high school, and then football in college.
Hmm.
Uh, and you can go ahead.
it's the same. I played volleyball and did track and field, and I just felt like I knew a lot of people who just kind of focused on one sport, and they just were had a lot of injuries because they
Hmm.
were just doing that one sport all the time.
Hmm.
And also at the time when Hamilton was growing up, I'm originally from Ohio, where you could play football 24/7.
Right.
Um, in North Carolina, they weren't doing that. You couldn't play football all the time, so we
Right.
had to pick another sport for Hamilton to be active because
Okay.
we could see that he was an athlete from a young age.
So then, with the activity, how did you guys balance the academics early? Because Hamilton is a scholar athlete. So how did you guys make sure that balance was there for those parents that may be struggling with making sure like homework and stuff gets done? How did you handle that at an early age?
I think you just have to make it a priority. You have to just start as early as you can, even if you start with just saying this kid has to read a book, just a chapter an evening. You just have to keep some sort of just one constant, one consistency to say, okay, athletic academics are important to us, and we
Hmm.
always drilled that into him, academics first. Now we would always make that threat. I think Hamilton will remember that, we'll take you out of game if your grades ain't right. So that was always there.
Yeah.
um, but I think you just have to make it a goal from the beginning that you got to have those grades correct.
So Ham, being young, and I'm sure just remembering that time, man, for the athletes, um, talk about that just a little bit as far as balancing out early in life, having to balance the academics and the athletics so young.
I think for me, it was just honestly, that was all I really knew. And every day I would come home, I would have my YMCA, my after school care, and they would just take me to practice. I'd get in the car after practice, read my book on the way home in the car, do my homework when I got home, and then I just started eating. And that just became my routine. And I just feel like
Mhm.
that's what's really important. As long as you like get in a certain routine of doing the same thing every day, trying to figure out how you can get better and figuring out the path that you want to get better through. Once you figure that out, I feel like it's like a much easier process.
Okay, cool. Now here's a big one, and I'm gonna lead this one off with the parents. The one thing that I never knew until jokingly Miss Inga brought it to my attention, I did not know that Hamilton's parents were actually divorced. So when they were working with Hamilton and I seen them moving and interacting, it was as if they were married. There was still a cohesive unit. The one thing I do see as a coach is excuses at times made that kind of hinders a child's development when I'm with dad, so I can't go to practice, or I'm with mom and I can't go to practice. And it ends up kind of messing the child up in between, or there's that gray area in between. How did you guys navigate that as parents to where the investment stayed in making sure he attended practice no matter what was going on? Like, how did you guys work that relationship out for, parents that may be working through that type of difficulty? I'll start with you, Mr. Eric.
You're on mute.
Oh, you're on mute. You're on mute. Hit it again. There you go. One more time. There you go.
I'm good now. I think so. Okay.
Got you.
For us, when we decided that we would split up, we always agreed, and we always came to the conclusion that we would put Hamilton first in his life, so that everything that we dealt with when we're dealing with him, he came first. It didn't matter what she was doing. It didn't matter what I was doing. Even my current wife, Robin, we all pitched in, but we always kept Hamilton first. So it was getting him to practice, getting him to school, picking him up from daycare, getting him to practice, making sure that he was doing schoolwork. We all chipped in. We were very cohesive in that mindset, that we would make sure that even though he had to go to two different homes, that if he got in trouble at my house, he got in trouble at her house. He got in trouble at her house, he got in trouble at my house. It was he never had a mixed message. And I think that's the main focus that a child should have, is that if your parents are split, we had one focus, and he never had a different message from either of us.
All right. Miss Inga, would you like to add to that?
I think that's correct. I think everyone, I grew up and I had divorced parents. So I knew that my parents were not speaking to each other. So to me, that caused it caused a lot of strife, but it also was a gateway to, I could say I'm at my dad's and I can say it at my mom's and no one would ever check. So I always had it in my mind. I wanted to keep that communication open with Eric so that we could be on the same page. But it's definitely something that you have to work at, and you have to process that as two parents. I always tell people you don't have to talk to the person every day, but you do have to, whenever that person calls or whenever there's some kind of activity that your child is doing, you have to remember that it's just strictly the business of your child. I mean, I think for everybody, sometimes a divorce is not always, it's not always just two people just decide that they're gonna break up. Sometimes there is animosity, and it's hard for parents to come together just for that one child. But it's something that you have to do. You have to figure out whether it's, people talk a lot about mental health, but you have to figure out that it is for that child.
Ham, would you like to speak to that? I mean, having your parents that were, separated, but still having that unit, man, how important that was to you, so that even somebody who may be in your shoes as a student can understand, you went through it, but, it didn't affect you on and off the field because of your parents being, a cohesive unit. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 1 Did you hear me, man?
Hear me?
Yeah, I got you
Yeah.
now. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Can you guys hear me?
Uh-huh. Go ahead. Yeah, we can hear you. This guy. Okay. This guy. Let's see if he can pop back in.
Can you guys
We can
hear
hear
me
you,
now?
man. Go ahead. You good?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Hey, man, you go to Yale. That's the type of Wi-Fi they got, brother?
No, my alarm just started getting ready for Lyft went off. So it
Oh, okay.
it
All
turned
right,
everything
hurry up
off.
so you can get moving so you can go eat. Did you remember my question?
Yeah. So
Okay.
I would think the biggest thing was like that sense of cohesiveness. And
Mhm.
honestly, it's hard like going back and forth to two different households because you're like constantly moving back and forth. You don't really have that sense of like I go to the same place every night, I sleep in the same bed every night, I get up and do the same thing every night. And like I
Mhm.
always talked about that routine as being very important. And I think that they like really did their best. Like they honestly put their differences aside for the betterment of me. And like I can't thank them enough for that because without that strong core of like parents telling me what's right from wrong and like guiding me down the path to like where I am today, I obviously would not be here. So like I always thank them for that. And like I would preach to any parent to like it's almost bigger than yourself because you're trying to see your child be greater than you are. And the only way you're going to do that is if you have a mom and dad that are you have a parents that are going to like do that as much as possible.
Good. Now I'm gonna give you your last question so you can get out of here and go eat and get the weightlifting. Um, Talk to the young people now because, as you know, the transfer portal and COVID and seniors having an opportunity to stay in college another year, all that stuff, recruiting is crazy and hectic. And everybody thinks that you had just a golden road of recruitment to Yale and not understanding, the process. But if you can, man, just talk about the level of patience you had to have, knowing that you had over 2,000 yards rushing your senior year, over 50 something tackles, all the accolades that you could possibly get. You made offensive MVP for the conference. Every single check you had, including 4.2 GPA and a ACT score of a 28. So as far as you doing your job as a student athlete, you had done it. But in state, you still didn't get the offers that we all thought you should have got. So talk about that patience piece that some of these guys need to have and knowing that, the opportunity will come. Just speak on that real quick.
I think honestly, Coach Block, you definitely helped me a lot with this. I feel like envy is the thief of joy, and I really think you can't look at what everyone else is doing. Like if that kid, yeah, he's a 4-star, 5-star, getting a ton of offers, but he's not you, and like you can't control what he's doing or what he's getting. The only thing that you can focus on is are you getting 1% better every day? Are you waking up and going to lift on time? Are you clocking in? Are you doing all your work? Are you turning in all your assignments? And that's at the end of the day, the only thing you can control is yourself. So as long as you know in your heart of hearts that you're trying to get better and you're doing everything that you can, that's what matters. And I really think that everything will work out for itself. Now, it may not be what you want. You may not go D1. You may not play at Alabama or Clemson. But if you want to play football, there's a place for everybody. And I honestly believe that.
Cool, man. Hey, I appreciate your time, man. Hurry up and go get you something to eat and get you a lift in, man. And I'm proud of you, man. I love you from here to Yale, from here to Yale and back, brother. So go ahead and get yourself something to eat. I'm going to ask your mother and father one more question and get them out of there because they look like they're both at work. So, hey, man, I love you, man. Peace out.
Love you too. Thank you, Coach.
All right, no problem. So the one thing that I asked Ham, I kind of want to flex that to you guys because the one thing I noticed is you guys invested in Hamilton on and off the field. So like his body was taken care of like no other kid I've ever seen before in my life. I never even knew what cryotherapy was. Like you guys made sure that. But if you can, for the parents who are anxious in this position of recruiting right now, because as you guys are seeing, it's absolutely horrible for a lot of seniors right now based upon transfer portal and all that other stuff. What advice can you give to help them help their child stay encouraged?
Eric, you want to start?
Is he frozen?
He might be frozen.
I think he's frozen.
Oh. I mean, I think,
oh, you good?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. No, I can't hear you. Now
God,
you're frozen.
I,
You're frozen again.
all right.
No,
I know it's
go
it's
ahead.
definitely hard now trying to find a. Oh man,
Yeah, you keep
gosh,
free. There you go. There you go. That's it. Stay right there. Don't
I had
move.
a phone call come in. That's why. Yeah. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
So I think that it's very hard right now to find a home, but it's coming. But I mean, you just got to keep the faith and just keep working hard to do what you need to do to put yourself in that place. I mean,
Mhm.
you may not have any stars. Hamilton had 0 stars, but I
Mhm.
always told him that if one school like you, that's all you need. He wound up having
Mhm.
3 schools that liked him, that wanted him to play football for them,
Mhm.
and one of them happened to be one of the best schools in the nation academically. So
Mhm.
it worked out. I mean, I think everybody, like he said, everyone can find a home. It may not be D1, it may not be D2, but if if a school likes you and is D2 or D3 or NAIA and is giving you the opportunity to play 4 years, the NFL will find you if you're good.
Mhm.
If you're good
Mhm.
enough, the NFL will find you. But the main thing is you're going to be able to get your degree. And
Mhm.
that's what you need to focus on more so than the football, even though that's going to be the thing you remember a lot of. But getting that degree is what counts in the real world.
Mhm. Mhm. Miss Inga?
I think the recruiting part is very difficult. You're not sure if you should believe some coaches, you're not sure what you should do. I think for us, what helped us a lot is going to um, the camps they had. I think that was a big thing. We went to camps every summer, all the time, as many as we could go to, even just to get noticed. I just think it gives you a little exposure. I think it's the easiest thing to do if you're unsure about the recruiting, the ways of how recruiting works.
Mhm.
The camps are the easiest way to just say, okay, can he shine at this camp? Can he do something? But the recruiting, I tell parents it's hard for everybody. It's
Right.
such a not a sure thing ever, and you
Mhm.
just don't know where to turn. You don't a lot of times you don't know who to trust.
Mhm.
I think if you like your coach, if you trust your coach, you should always go with what your coach is saying. But if you're unsure, I think the camps are the easiest way to go there and see if your child can do well at a camp.
How did you specifically keep Hamilton's spirits up during the time where it didn't look, promising for what we all thought? You know what I mean? Because he was having the lights out season and everything was lining up, but it didn't happen the way we initially thought. So, how did you guys at home keep him up? And that's my last question, so I can get y'all out of here because I know y'all are at work.
At my house, so I'm kind of a little bit of a nerd. So we have a wall in our house that talks about all your accolades, so
Mhm.
that you can always look at this wall and say, this is what I've accomplished. So
Mhm.
in our house, we had a wall, and it was kind of helping us decide where we wanted to go to school, what colleges we were interested in. And I kept pointing to that wall. This is what you've done. This is who you are. Football's not it, but let's focus on everything that you've done. And also, I think for us, communication is huge. We have
Mhm.
a once a month we have what we call Say It Like It Is Sunday, and
Mhm.
that means you can say anything you want on Sunday. It don't matter if it hurts someone's feelings. It doesn't
Mhm.
matter, but it opens that line of communication to say, okay, this is how I'm feeling. So a lot of kids, I don't think a lot of times we parents, we can't talk to them, or we want to impart our wisdom, but they've got to be ready to receive that. So I think for us, just setting out certain times of the day or the week just to talk and keep those spirits up, because it is hard. It's definitely hard to see, you know, Hamilton was not getting recruited in state at all.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really hard to deal with because he
Mm-hmm.
thought he was doing an excellent job.
Mm-hmm. And he was. Mr. Moore, to finish it out, man, how did you as pops, you know what I mean? And you watching your son go through this. Meanwhile, you know, he checking all the boxes, man. How did you, you know, help support him on your side to keep him focused and not tank out?
A lot of conversation. A lot of conversation in the car on the way home from practice, and him talking, and you know, this recruiter talk to him. But and then you let the people know and understand that, you know, recruiters tell tales a lot of the time. You know, they don't. It doesn't matter until they offer you, and that's kind of where Hamilton began to believe. He said, you know, if a coach talked to him well or anything, he didn't believe it. Even the Yale, you know, even though he went to Yale camp, and you put us onto that, you know, the Ivy League, the stuff, when the recruiter started to come in, and we decided to take him there instead of going to the UNCs and the Dukes and the states we had been to before without any joy from it. You know, as far as getting, you know, people talking to him or getting him quality looks. When we went to the Cornell's, the Harvard, and the Yale camp, that's where he finally got the love, where they saw his ability. You know, of course, they already knew about his mind, you know, his academics, and they saw the ability, and that's where he started to shine. The Davidsons. The only school in North Carolina that actually offered Hamilton, as you know, was Davidson College.
Yeah, that's it.
In Charlotte. That was the only school that ever thought that he could play for them. You know, and even that was not you had paid to go to school there, so you didn't even. It wasn't even a scholarship.
Right.
But you know, it was just a lot of talking and just keeping him motivated. That control what you can do. You know, someone will. All we need is one, and when we find that one, we will be fine. And we got that one.
Cool.
Yeah.
Hey,
so, but
I really appreciate y'all taking.
But don't
I'm
trust.
sorry, I cut you off. Go ahead.
Oh no, I'm just saying, just don't believe just because recruiters talk to you or send you a letter. And until he says this is something that you can sign and play for, it don't mean anything.
It don't mean nothing. Thank you for saying that. Like, I promise you, everybody swears that it was just a golden road for y'all. And I try to tell them, like, man, there was a lot of ups and downs in this process, and you just got to kind of stick to it. And I just wanted to let the people hear from you guys. And I'm going to do the same thing with Christian's mom as well, just to let them know about the side that he had to go through as well, because it wasn't all roses for him either. The recruiting side is hard, and it's even harder now, but you still got to stay focused and remain. The one thing that I can say, and I'm giving the roses to, you know, Mr. Moore and Miss Moore, is Hamilton checked all the boxes so that when it was time and the door did open, he was ready to walk through. And so on their end, they did what they were supposed to do to make sure he was prepared for any opportunity that came through that fit what they wanted as a family. What you don't want to do is play behind the eight ball, and then when the opportunity opens, you're like, hold on, I got to go get my bag. Keep your bag on and be ready to walk through that door once the opportunity permits itself. So I thank y'all for taking time with me today. I know y'all are at work. I really do appreciate it. Hopefully I can get y'all back later on. We can talk some smack about ball, but I thank y'all.
Go Browns.
No, I knew you were going to say that. No. Get her off the screen now. Go Browns. Get out of here. I love y'all, man. See y'all later.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
So we went into second down. I knew they were at work, so I went into second down. So I still want to give my sponsor for second down their love. So if we can roll second down, but we're going to roll into third down. So second down sponsor, let's go ahead and hit them.
Second Down brought to you by Camp Gladiator, Changing fitness, changing lives with both outdoor and virtual camps. Become a trainer now. And if you're interested, reach out to D Block on Instagram and Facebook.
So if you're interested in becoming a trainer, please reach out to my mom, D Block. You can hit her on her social media, which is D Block, DEABLOCK, and talk to her about becoming a CG, a Camp Gladiator trainer. And if you are looking for personal training, or if you're looking for group training, indoor or virtual, please hit her up, because Camp Gladiator has them both. They do outdoor and they do virtual. She has outdoor and virtual classes. So COVID safe, make sure you go hit her up. Once again, D Block, DEABLOCK. And that is all her social media is D Block. Thank you. So with that being said, that takes us straight into my producer is probably looking at me like I'm crazy. That takes us right into third down. Yeah, third down. Play.
Third down brought to you by Coach Chuck. He doesn't want to sell you shit. He's just a good guy.
So that's another coach. He wanted to get in on this. What I want to let you guys know, every segment has the opportunity to be a sponsor. So if you want to sponsor something, have a message that you want to put out, don't want to sell anything, but just want to get something out, holla at me. We'll put it out on the show. All right. So Coach Chuck, thank you very much for your support of the First and Down and for everything that you do for us and the kids. With that being said, I want to bring in my mom says she's training right now. So I want to bring in a nutritionist, because I believe that this is very important. It's extremely important to know what you're putting into your body. And one of the big things that I've seen as a coach was we ask our kids to put out maximum performance, but they're not putting in maximum food and nourishment inside of their body. And I'm guilty of it too. Go to practice, grab a bag of chips, get on the field. So with that being said, I have my man Tony Adkinson coming on, and he is of Viber Zone. So he has his own business, Viber Zone, where he discussed the importance of nutrition with athletes. So what's up, man? How you doing?
Hey, what's going on, man? How you doing? Pretty good.
I'm doing great. Thank you for your patience, man. So let's just jump into it, because I don't want to waste no time.
No problem.
The first question I got is, what do I put in my body to maximize my performance? I'm a high school athlete and my resources are limited. What could I put in my body to help my performance?
Okay, so first of all, just the basis of it. I feel like every athlete needs they need to follow up with a doctor to know just their blood type to even know how to eat. So, okay. I mean, I'm an athlete. I can go back to having injuries. I tore my ACL at 11, 12 years old and didn't realize the foods that triggered that injury until I was in college. Mm-hmm. And I feel like the basics to maximize any athlete performance is just even anyone performance. For an athlete, it just requires even more. And I wrote down the list of superfoods because I've been vegan 11 years. I help a lot of pro athletes transition over. So I wrote down the most powerful superfoods an athlete can put in their body. Okay. So the list for vegetables is watercress. Watercress is a super green veggie, just like kale. Watercress is very dense and calcium. Athlete need calcium. I got zucchini. Zucchini is another vegetable for athletes. Asparagus. I got bell peppers, squash. I have lettuce, all lettuce except for the iceberg. You want to go more on the greener the lettuce, the more dense that you will get your nutrients from. And so as far as fruits, I have apples, bananas, figs, you have grapes, everything with seeds. I believe in anything that, reproduce, it must have a seed in order for it to be, real fruit. There's a lot of fake fruit too. We'll get into that though. But pears, plums, and then the grains. This is very important because a lot of athletes need carbs. They need a lot of carbs, but you want not the refined carbs. You want more of like quinoa, wild rice. These are, packed with nutrients, proteins that the athletes needs. hemp seed. A lot of people don't know of it, but hemp seed is very potent with protein, antioxidants, things that athletes need to, perform well. And so this is a number of things that I kind of jot down, but I actually, I'm more on the holistic side. So I always believe in just listening to your body and understanding what works for me. So what works for me may not work for the next athlete. So I teach athletes to, get in tune with their body to know, hey, when I put this natural food into my body, this actually works for me. So that's what I kind of teach athletes. I give them a group of foods to try and see which one actually works for them.
Okay. So then if I'm let's say I'm a offensive lineman, and I got to stay big. A lot of offensive linemen, they want to feed them a lot of meat, get them that, and they claim that that's the only way to get your protein. So
Right.
if I'm on that side, but also, a lot of offensive linemen, younger, are not really in shape the way they should be. They're big, but they're not in shape. So how would I feed this big fella and make sure that he's still keeping his size? Because once again, that's a part of me getting my scholarship is my size. So
Right.
for the bigger guys, man, what would you say as far as protein shakes or anything? Do you believe in that?
Yeah. So I believe in everything just natural. And another thing too, it's what type of big the athlete want. Do he just want to be big, or do he want to be toned and big? Or do he want to be lean and big? Because now the game is changing. The game of football is changing to back in the day, it was big and strong or big and fast. And now it's just fast. Like we have these big, huge athletes, but now they're more toned and they're more leaned out now. And so I think the most important foods for that, when we talking about linemen, is we talking about the lentil beans. These beans are very powerful. We have we talking about black beans. These beans have a cup of black beans is 26 grams of protein. That's the same as a steak or a piece of chicken, a grilled chicken. So as far as those things, I would tell them to stack up on the carbs. But this is the trick with that. This is the trick with the carbs. A lot of those guys, you got to question, like, why am I hungry at the moment? So it's like, why am I hungry? Because a lot of if you drink 2 cups of water when you're hungry, you'll realize, like, hey, I'm just dehydrated. So a lot of guys, they get mixed up with, am I hungry or am I dehydrated? So with the linemen, I would say stick with the most powerful foods as far as big carbs, sweet potatoes, the lentil beans, they're very potent. 2 cups is 18% protein. So so basically things of that nature that's gonna keep them going for a long time. Kale is a big thing as far as staying big. See, it's a myth with where do I get my protein from? So a lot of animals eat plants. That's how they get their protein. Protein actually comes from plants. The greener the plant, the more dense the protein is. But the issue is we eat the animal and the animal eating the plant. So it's like we could take away from eating the animal and go straight to the source. It's like cut the middleman off and get right to the source. So that's the myth for being vegetarian. They may say, oh, well, how do you get your protein? I get it from beans and plants, plant-based. Everything plant-based got the richest protein, and that's why animals eat it. The strongest animal in the jungle eat plants.
Right. So then let me ask you this then. So what you're saying, like to eat plants for the younger guys and people like myself too, I'm old school, right? So you feed these kids a whole big plate of meat, clog them up. So is it realistic to be a vegan and be a professional athlete?
So look now, and so that's the thing. And that's what I represent. I've been an athlete for the past all my life. I just stopped recently playing, maybe 3 years ago. I played at all levels as far as all college levels from JUCO. I was a JUCO product. I was Division I. I didn't have the grades. I went JUCO, Division 1, Division 2, Division 3, NAIA.
Mhm.
I was going for a while until I'm 31. I stopped going to college when I was like 28. I got my first shot in the league at like 29.
Mhm.
And so I've been grinding for a while, but within that, I was changing my body type as far as what actually worked for me, because I was the meat eater. I was 195, but I was real bulky. That's all I wanted was meat. But when I got around those other Division 1 players, these 4-3 guys, I'm like, whoa. I'm thinking I'm eating, trying to get big, but I wasn't maximizing it with what foods to actually power the body. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So the more and more I grind, I realize like, whoa, I can go the vegan route. I just never did it. It's more of a mental thing.
Mhm.
And so once I did it, I realized like, man, less inflamed. I was less inflamed. A lot of guys, like these big linemen, they're coming to me now in the NFL because they want to transition over, because they realize like, wow, I could be a vegan athlete, and this actually helps for me, because some of those linemen, they end up having high blood pressure because they got to be so big. Like I had a one of my close friends, he had to put on 50 pounds when he went D1. I'm like, 50 just to hit the ball, and you can see it in his face, but he had to take water pills. He was like almost diabetic. And I'm like, it's a difference when it's how we're getting big. And so that's why, the lean foods, the tuna, the salmon, those are the fatty acid, those helps for those big guys, instead of eating those red meats and the poisoning meats that these animals, because I'm sorry. Yeah.
Are you good? Go ahead. Go ahead.
Hey man, but I'm real passionate about it because I know what the food actually does to the body.
Okay.
It's very powerful, and we can heal the body based on what we put in it, man.
So then what you're saying that now, because a lot of parents may not know, man, and in the demographics that I coached, we had parents that had the money, some parents that don't have the money. You know what I mean? And so it may sound expensive. You know what I mean?
Right.
So how can I, and this will take me to my next question, how do I budget my meal preps for my student athlete? Because are they going to be eating more? Because you say a bowl of beans, like how do I budget this out?
So check it. So this is what I'm saying. So understanding different food types, like the beans, they're high in fiber. Like some of these things. So the difference between like how you're getting full. A lot of people, they eat to get full, or they eat to consume. And so I teach athletes eat to consume. As an athlete, you're going to be eating like 5 or 6 times a day, but it's what you're eating. And so that's why when it comes to snacks, you want to snack on nuts. You want to snack on an orange. An apple has more fiber than a bag of chips, and it's understanding different foods, and what to eat. It can make it more, limited. And as far as meal prep, so I don't teach people what to actually eat for themselves, because everybody's body's different. But I would tell parents to understand your kid, what he loves and what he don't, rationalize the actual food, and just meal prep it for those guys. And it real simple. As far as you get your beans, you got your rice, you got your veggies, and then you have your protein. That's the basics that we need. Just as athletes, we may need it even more, you know what I'm saying? Because we're burning that energy. So I would recommend the parents or athletes to, have it all set up. On Sundays, do meal prep. Cook a big pot of rice, have everything set up to where you got like 12 bowls that is not even going to cost you $25. And that's for the whole meat. You can have 12 bowls for the week. And whenever you're hungry, you can pull it out. And now you're not just eating crap. You're actually eating meals that's going to, rich the body in order to, perform, so you can perform well. So I would say that's like the best route.
Before we get into a fourth down, matter of fact, let's just go into fourth down with my fourth down sponsor, and then I'm going to come back to you because I got my next question lined up. So let's run the fourth down sponsor.
Fourth down brought to you by the Divas Den. Make some tea, grab your mug, have a seat, and join the conversation with SoFab Kim every Wednesday at 8 p.m.
So my next question is real simple. Let these players know, and I, once again, as a coach, you can let me know too.
All right.
Don't I put in my body? Because here's the thing. A lot of our young players, you know, mom and dad is working and they eat bad things out of convenience.
Right.
And it's nothing for me to see my guys kill 2 bags of oodles and noodles.
Man.
And so talk to me about what I don't want to put in my body versus what I am put. You know what I mean? Like, tell me about those bad things not to put in my body, which can hinder my performance.
Right. So go back to the oodles and noodles, because I'm a JUCO product and that was all we had. Like, it was guys, even when I was going vegan in school, they was looking at me crazy. Like, you know, and they were still eating their noodles. And I'm like, and so the problem with the oodles and noodles is it's the package that come with it, all that sodium in that package.
Yeah.
It's dangerous, you know. Now, mind you, like, the noodles is good. It's just the pack of the sodium that they add in it. So, you know, if you one of those kids that, hey, mom's not home, yeah, the noodles is good, but I would recommend adding, you know, get you some chop up some, you know, bell peppers and add some veggies in it. And then boom, you don't need the sodium. You know, you can add a little pepper, a little pepper, a little salt. A lot of people think salt is bad too. We'll get to that. Sea salt, Himalaya salt. You can add that in there. The best meal ever. You can. Yeah. I know guys in the NFL now. They meal prep with oodles and noodles.
For real?
Just because they've been doing it so long, they just add the veggies that they like in it.
Yeah.
So, you know, oodles and noodles, you can get a whole pack for like probably like a nickel now. Like
10 cents.
You know, like, I don't knock it. I don't knock it at all, because there is protein in the noodles. And you know, it's just the sodium pack.
So then what you're saying, sodium, one thing my mom is big on is people drinking Gatorade just for meals rather than drinking it to hydrate. So give me and I used to have to tell my players this too, the Gatorade versus water. Talk to the people about, you know, making sure they get enough water and not consume Gatorade like that. Yeah,
so I was growing up, Chris Carter, the Hall of Fame coach, he was my little league coach growing up. He always talked about just sitting at home drinking Gatorade because we think it's good, but it's packed with sodium in it, and you only need that when you're moving because you want to replenish. That's what Gatorade. That's their slogan, to replenish with the sodium that they have in it. But if you're not moving around, that sodium is just sitting in your body. It's not going anywhere. Too much of it is bad for you. You'll get inflamed. It's not going anywhere, you know. And so I feel like water is the basics. I study all type of water. So I think the most important water is spring water. Spring water is natural spring water. It has the natural minerals that it needs to be in it. There's nothing added to it. So I feel like the natural Gatorade is water and lime.
Okay.
Water and lime automatically alkaline anything. So you can get fresh spring water and get a lime and squeeze that lime in there, and your water is alkaline.
Okay.
You know? So I mean, that's a little trick that I did when I was in college, being a student and down in San Diego, taking these nutrition classes. I realized, like, you know, what foods was powerful. So I always added the lime and a Himalaya salt to my water. It alkalines the water, and man, you get hydrated quicker. You know?
So then what you're talking about being inflamed, so having like the inflamed joints and muscles and stuff like that, what do I eat to help me decrease my inflammation? So if I notice that I am inflamed or swollen and things like that, what can I eat to help decrease that, natural foods that I can use?
Right. So I got a list of foods that actually add mucus into body. That's what inflame is. It's just mucus in the body. but
Okay.
it's foods that create mucus.
Mhm.
And so that's how people get sick. So we eat mucus foods, we put it in the body, and we don't work out. We just sit.
Mhm.
And so for a long time, that turns into pus in the body. And the more we sit and not active, then it turns into erosion. And then that turns into disease. And then we out of here, So the foods that we need in order to break that mucus in the body, and sea moss is one of them. Sea moss, I got a list of it. Sea moss, tuna, sardines. We have pumpkin seeds, grapefruit, pineapple, watercress, celery, pickles, onion, ginger, honey, lime, things of that nature, cayenne pepper,
Okay.
olive oil. These are the things that can break the mucus in the body. And everything is alkaline. It comes from the earth. It's not, remade in the laboratory. These are powerful foods that come from the sun, and it's made to clear the body of any mucus.
So then if I'm a student athlete and I need to put something together from the morning until I get back home, and let's say I'm a high school student, what should I carry with me to school take me from breakfast to dinner?
Okay.
And what I can carry with me and just keep rolling from breakfast to dinner.
Okay. Number one, I feel like water is important even before the next day. I feel like every athlete, the night before school, you need to be chugging water really to be hydrated. That it prevents a lot of injury because water is an absorb for if I say, for instance, if I go head up with someone and we collide, depending on how much liquid in my body, it's going to dictate what man go down, what man,
Right.
going to get injured or get hurt, and I feel like the start of it in the morning, water is very important. You should always have a jug of water. Like even in college, I was at San Diego State, and our coaches, we had to have something on our hip. He had to see his players with a water jug on there. And we wrote lines out, when just to sip it. You don't want to just chug it. We had a lines when to sip water. So water is very important.
Okay.
Nuts and bars. Stay away from like the energy bars because they got a lot of saturated fat and fatty acids that we don't need in the body. A lot of salt. So those energy bars are not good. So I would say oranges, apples, those things. When you hungry in class, you can just snack on it. These foods, a lot of guys may think, oh, I'm 350. That one apple is gonna do it. It's gonna do its job if you naturally do it,
Yeah.
And so I got a list of basically from breakfast to lunch. So I'll read it here. I have in the morning, first thing, I feel like oatmeal. A lot of guys do oatmeal or cereal. I feel like oatmeal, anything hot, anything whole wheat hot cereal is the best thing for athletes.
Okay.
Oatmeal, your choice of a fruit, water. I have like even green tea. Green tea help digestive. It adds just the antioxidants that you need for performance to replenish, just natural. Or you can do I got a English muffin with avocado on it. Or you can do a smoothie. A lot of guys go to the whey protein. Of course, I would recommend a plant-based because it's more dense.
Okay.
It's more dense and it's more powerful of a lot of veggies put together. A lot of whey has soy in it. Soy is not good for athletes. It creates a lot of inflammation in the body also.
I didn't know that. So hold on, pause right there. I didn't know. Soy for athletes is something that we need to be aware of.
Soy is something that I feel like is a lot of people need to be aware of. Soy is like it's made up. Soy is based like starch.
Okay.
So like tofu. Tofu is made up. It's soy based.
Yeah.
It's not good for the body.
Okay.
I don't even recommend athletes to drink milk. I used to drink milk every day.
Yeah.
Like coach, it was crazy because even when I had my ACL surgery, I was that kid trying to figure out. I had a doctor tell me I won't ever play football again. So that made me change my whole mindset, how I thought about what was going in my body.
Yeah.
So, you know, the advertisement of milk, like I was drinking milk. They called me the milkman in high school.
Yeah.
I was going in the cafeteria in between class getting milk because I wanted to get stronger bones.
Yeah.
But what? It was adding inflammation in the body. I was packed with milk. I
Yeah.
was stuffy, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It wasn't doing nothing but making my bones weak, you know?
Okay.
And so I would tell athletes instead of milk, I mean, naturally, I go to the coconut water, coconut milk. It's more dense with what we need, you know? And so almond milk, that's something big too. You know, a lot of people think like almond, what almond get milk, like, you know, get milk from. But it's
Right.
crushed down, and you know, anything crushed turns into almond, it turns into white. So
Yeah.
you know, the more you push it down, so it's just like cashew milk. And
Yeah.
you know, I even got NFL guys, they drink goat milk. They still,
Okay.
yeah, they one of the guys, Warren Sapp, you know, Warren Sapp had an I guess he was training the kid. He was telling me about the goat milk thing. Like they believe in the goat milk. So everybody got their little things, but you know,
So then now for lunch. So you gave me my breakfast, you gave me my snack in between. So
Right.
what do I need to eat for lunch to power me through? Because I got practice now coming up.
Right.
I gotta eat something to get me right.
Right. So lunch, I got say for instance, you can go with a grill. So, you know, if you are a meat eater, I would go with a grilled chicken. You get either got a grilled chicken, a 6-ounce steak, or a 6-ounce fish. You know what I'm saying? That's for your protein. And you have for veggies, you can go with a kale salad. As far as salad, you know, kale $2 in the bag. It's $2 a bag.
Yeah.
You could get kale, add the veggies of your choice inside of it, and then I have peanut butter. Like, you know, for snack, a lot of guys do the peanut butter. I have the peanut butter sandwich, or then I have if I'm already meal prep, I have my rice with my veggies on top.
Yeah.
And so that's mainly for lunch. And then you good with a fruit of your choice, you know. Just keep it simple. Everything is pretty much simple of your choice. It's just the portions of your meals of like, you know, how you're eating. That's all it is. So and then as far as that, now you got practice. So you know, you of course you replenish before practice, but after practice is like, you know, that's one of the things that I, you know, coach athletes on, because that's the most important time after training.
Yeah.
It's what you put in your body immediately after training. You got a metabolic rate of like 30 minutes. So whatever you put in your body as soon as you get done training is very important on recovering for the next day. You know, so you want to pack yourself with a lot of carbs. We build the carbs. Vitamins and minerals are important, you know. As far as that, you want to get your intake on your shake, and then you want to make sure you get in your not just any type of carbs, but the yams, the potatoes, sweet potatoes. That's like the best carb you can actually intake, you know, for replenishing. Pasta, you can do a you know, cheap pasta salad with tuna in it, or your choice of veggies and meat. It's real simple, you know what I'm saying? So I think things of that nature, as far as, you know, what to replenish after training, is like the best thing, you know, you can go.
So before we get you out of here, man, I appreciate your time. I noticed one thing big on your website was CMOS. Can you explain that to the viewers, man? What why you're big on CMOS?
So CMOS, I met I was flying one day and I was getting ready to train for the NFL. It was back in
Did
like
you freeze like that? Did everybody freeze?
No, I can hear you.
Yeah, he's frozen. Uh-oh.
I'm back.
Yeah, you back. There we go.
All right.
Yeah, you stopped at I met and then it froze. Go ahead.
Yeah, it was one of Dr. Sabi's family members. It was back in 2000, I think 2013. Dr. Sabi, he's a holistic doctor. People call him that, a holistic doctor. I wasn't aware of who he was at the time, but I met one of his relatives. I think was his niece or one of them. But I was flying from Vegas to Los Angeles, and And long story, I was able to meet him, and that's when so I was able to meet him. We was talking about food. I was vegan for like 5 years already, and I was trying to find what I needed to complete myself, because when I went vegan, I didn't know what to eat. I was just like eating everything that wasn't meat, but I didn't know what was going to fill my body up. I thought I had to eat a lot, and I realized I didn't. And so I got introduced into sea moss, and that's when I couldn't find it for a while. I didn't go back to, I lost in contact with one of his niece. I believe it was his niece, but I ended up finding it in St. Lucia's out in the Caribbeans. And I ended up getting a plug on it. And man, sea moss been like, it changed my life, man, to be honest with you. Sea moss has, a lot of people say sea moss has 92 minerals in it. I believe, they say we have 102 minerals. If you look on a periodic table, it's 102 minerals on there. They said sea moss has over 92 to 93. I don't know how many in it, but I know what it does to my body. It basically has vitamin A through K in it. These are vitamins and minerals we can't get from food. Zinc, iodine, like magnesium, vitamin A, vitamin K, B12. This is packed. This is a superfood. It's grown in the ocean under a rock. The rock give it all its nutrients, and so it's taken from the rock. And so that's what they used back in the day to get rid of colds, get rid of flus. To get rid of inflammatories in the body. It just flushes you out,
So then let me ask you this, then how can I get it? How can we get it? Or do we have to
I actually sell sea moss. I actually sell it on a website. I'll shoot you the website. I get my sea moss from out in the Caribbeans and St. Lucia. So it's a lot of people selling it now. We've been on it for a while, and we trust the people that we get it from. It's naturally wild caught. So we sell it raw, and we also sell it already made in we sell it in the gel form. So all you have to do is, I give it to my NFL guys. They take 2 scoops, 3 scoops a day, and it actually fills up your cell membrane in your stomach. So you're less hungry. And all those sugar cravings, they stop because you're packed with all the vitamins you need. So you don't need that. You don't need the extra stuff anymore, because the sea moss actually, powerful you up. So you know.
Well, hey man, I want to thank you for your time. I appreciate the information you gave me. Now, I see here, make sure we got you listed right. To get to you, in case anybody is interested in meal prep, I see you do the sea moss shakes for people.
Yes, the smoothies. Right now is NFL off season, so a lot of NFL guys are coming to me for my smoothies. They do it every year out here in Atlanta, but I travel a lot when it comes to those guys, because a lot of them, they trying to find different ways of just implementing and just getting the more out of their performance. So a lot of those guys, they're switching to plant-based and trying to figure it out. So I make those smoothies. I have a superfood smoothie. It has like 13 different greens in it. It's green smoothie, but it's surprising good taste. I have a mango Miami smoothie. It's organic mangoes, sea moss, hemp seed, just the basics, but it power you up before and after workouts. So we ship that out in the mail. We ship like 12 at a time. So you can order offline, and we'll get it to you.
All right. So look, parents, and not even just parents of athletes, anybody who's watching who wants to get this superfood and deal with the sea moss and all that, I might have to try it out for myself.
Right.
To Instagram at VibraZone21 and Twitter VibraZone21, or go to vibrazone.com and you can hit up my man Tony Adkinson and get everything that you need. Go ahead.
One thing I want to say to parents, when they think of like athletes, like maybe my son don't like veggies, my son is picky, he don't like this, he don't like that. Just make sure he's getting multivitamins, vitamins and minerals. That's what we live off of. This is the reason why we're breathing now. We need these things to stay alive and to keep our body functioning.
Yeah.
You get multivitamins, that's you're ahead of the game by, you know, a lot of kids, you want them to eat veggies, but they don't like it. So we sneak it in a smoothie or we put it in a vitamin. So I feel like if the parents, you know, when it comes to money low or anything, just make sure he have his vitamins and minerals, and at least he'll have that to, you know, keep his body functioning.
There it is. Hey man, I appreciate your time, man. That's a nugget of knowledge. Get the vitamins. You can get that from Walmart, CVS.
Right.
So
And
get
if you
that.
can't get that, get the sea moss, and I got you.
All right, cool. Hey man, I appreciate your time, man. You have a good night. And I'm gonna close real quick. Don't compare, compete. Once again, this show here is for parents. You can go back and watch it all over again. You can go see Hamilton Moore's parents talk about everything that he did and they did to help him during a time where they thought he should have been recruited and he did not get the recruitment that he was looking for. And then you can talk to or look at everything that Mr. Tony Adkinson has for CMOS and eating properly, and go back and view this and share it and get everybody all the information that you need. I want to thank y'all for y'all time. We will be back again next week at the same time at 6 o'clock. Got a whole nother set of guests for you. I'll drop that on Monday. Remember, don't compare, compete. Have a safe and happy weekend.